That one night that I got to meet Terry Bradshaw, we almost opened a restaurant and we had a little fun, a little mystery, a little mystique. Compliments of Terry Bradshaw.
My goal is to help restaurant owners finally get to where they want to go. But more than that, my goal is to find entrepreneurs within that segment that actually know what it means to hustle. That's my goal. Come on the journey with me.
Restaurant Marketing Secrets, episode 336. I'm your host, Matt Plapp, and we're brought to you by America's Best Restaurants. America's Best Restaurants is on a path to help you, independent restaurant owners, find more frequent customers. But today, it's about having fun. It's about listening to me talk on Saturday story time. The time was around 2005, and our family boat and RV dealership was approached to be a part of an Airstream-themed diner that included a sales center for Airstream at a mall in Cincinnati. I believe the mall originally was called Forest Fair Mall, and then it became Cincinnati Mills. This company that was developing it apparently approached Airstream originally. We were the Airstream dealer for Northern Kentucky and Cincinnati, so they approached us, and we decided to hear them out and find out what they had in store. We had a few months of negotiations and realized that neither one of us or Airstream, wanted any part of a restaurant and diner. Sounded really cool. And we also didn't think that it would increase sales, and we both made the right decision. But here is the funny part. We're invited to I guess you could say it was an unveiling of the mall, their master plan, a pitch fest. And we went up there with a handful of our employees. We took a couple campers. We displayed a couple of the Airstream campers inside the mall. We looked at it as a good marketing opportunity. They invited hundreds of business leaders in the community. They were trying to pitch the redevelopment of this mall that had went out of business. If I remember correctly, they bought it for about $40 million. They ended up putting about $100 million into it. And like 5 years later, it sold for like $20 million. So the mall business is a little weird and out of my pay grade. We get up to this event, and we knew Terry Bradshaw was coming. We didn't know a whole lot about what was to come at the event, but we knew there was going to be a meet and greet, some tours, some mock-ups of what they saw happening. They wanted this mall to be theme-oriented. That's why they wanted the 50s diner with Airstream there and the Airstream dealership. They wanted to have a lot of attractions they thought would bring different people. I'm trying to think. I believe this mall was also attached to a Bass Pro Shops, but I could be wrong on that one. I think it was. I'm not sure. So we go to this event, and the night starts off eventful. We get there, and we have dinner. Well, I'm not a cultured person to understand at this time what some of the lingo meant in the menu, and I was later to come to understand it was like a 7-course meal. It had some special words for it. Again, above my pay grade in life at that time, and even probably now. But I remember we had 4 of us at our table. Our table had like 7 chairs. They bring out the smallest piece of food. And we're all looking at each other and wondering, man, this is dinner? So we chowed down on that food, and we ended up leaning our seats forward next to us. Like, oh, they're out smoking. They're like, oh, seriously? Yeah. So they brought some food over there. We ate their food real quick. Well, after about the 3rd plate came out, we came to realize there was a lot more food coming. And these people look at us and go, hey, guys, we realize nobody's sitting there. We don't give a shit. Have as much food as you want. That's how it started. The next part's where it got really fun. Terry Bradshaw comes on stage. Now, on the stage, on the front of the stage, is a line of footballs apparently autographed by Terry Bradshaw. Not apparently, because I have one, so it is autographed by Terry Bradshaw. Well, the game plan either was not communicated correctly to Terry, or he didn't listen, or he got a little excited. I don't know. But apparently underneath one chair at each table was a envelope that entitled you to an autographed Terry Bradshaw football. Well, Terry, in his excitement, gets up on the stage and starts bombing these footballs at the crowd. Now, I want to tell you this. Each table had about a 3-foot glass centerpiece filled with water and flowers in the middle of it. I'm not joking. giant centerpiece. I want you to imagine a crowd of about 90% dudes, majority of them 50-plus men, that all know Terry Bradshaw and would love an autographed football. Well, dude starts bombing footballs out there. Tables are flying everywhere. Centerpieces are falling. People are getting knocked over. Yours truly ended up snagging 2 footballs. Now, the second football I caught the ire of a lady. Is that the term? I jumped in front of her and picked this thing off. Now, I was a defensive back in college. I was not very good, but I was one. And I blocked this lady out and snagged this ball, to which she gave me a look like you wouldn't believe. And so I realized that I already had a ball, and I handed it to her and said, here, I was catching it for you. So Terry about destroyed every table. The CEO of the company that was, I guess, developing this mall came on stage and apologized and said, hey, Terry, you got a little excited. Those balls were supposed to be given away differently. Don't worry about it. Ignore the letter underneath the chair, because it was a whole promotion I guess they had going on. So the next part of this is what was really funny, honestly. So this event going pretty fun. Terry Bradshaw gets on stage. And there was somebody that spoke before him, but I can't remember who it was. But it was a presentation by the CEO of the company. Then there was somebody else than Terry. But Terry gets up there. He's the closing act. And he's going to do some story time. About 5 minutes into his presentation, we notice at our table that his left shoulder, he's got like a yellow shirt on. And his left shoulder's got this giant wet spot. And we're looking because to us, it seems that the ceiling is dripping on him. And we're wondering where the drip's coming from. And we're about 3 tables back from the stage, so we can see him pretty damn good. And of course, we're ADD. I was probably, 2005. What is this, 23 now? That would have been 17. I would have been in my, late 20s, early 30s. And we're looking up at the ceiling, trying to figure out what the hell this drip's coming from, because his shoulder, it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And at this point, we weren't even paying attention to his stories. And by the way, this dude was an animated storyteller. Well, long story short, he ends up about 15 minutes into the presentation or speech, motivational speech, whatever you call it, tells everybody, hey, by the way, you obviously can tell I sweat a lot. Because at this point, half of his shirt was just drenched. So our mystery was solved. It wasn't a link in the ceiling. It was a leak in Terry Bradshaw's body. I've never seen somebody sweat at this level. So he gets off the stage. He goes around. He shakes hands. He went to give me a hug, like one of those little man hugs. And I'm like, I'm good, bro. Little sweaty. Had a good laugh with him. He took some pictures and got out of there. So apologize for Tic Tac or Yorkie if you hear him barking in the background. He's not happy I'm on the mic. But that's Saturday story time. That was my day with Terry Bradshaw and how we almost opened a restaurant. And man, thank goodness we did, because that would have been a short-lived restaurant and a short-lived mall by 2 guys, 3 guys, me, my dad, and brother. They shouldn't have opened a damn restaurant.
So as you know, I don't charge for my content. We don't have sponsors. We don't have product placement in here. But what I want your help with is spreading the word. If you're finding value here, do me a favor. Share this on your social media. Share an episode with something that made sense to you, that's relevant to your restaurant, that you got value from, and tag Matt Plapp and America's Best Restaurants. Also, go to America's Best Restaurants on Facebook and on Google and leave us a review. Let us know the impact we've had on your restaurant with our roadshow, with our marketing help, or with our podcast. And last but not least, if you want to take the next step and help me out a lot and help us out a lot, text me a testimonial, 859-743-2408. That's my cell. A selfie video would be awesome about the impact this content or our company is having on your independent restaurant. But worst case scenario, just a few kind words. The way we can help lift this industry up is to help get content like this to more independent restaurant owners, and you are the key to spreading the word. I appreciate your support. Have an amazing day.